on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
And got a little more mess for y'all.
Hey, Bachi.
We are back. VOCHLOMBARDI. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. Love y'all to pieces, man. What y'all doing? What y'all doing over there? Y'all just sitting in there kicking it? Minding your business. You ain't doing nothing on this Monday. I appreciate y'all, man. Some of y'all just got off of work. I'm clocked in. There's been a lot of conversation going around. Pardon me. Y'all be sure to download the Bleach Report app. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. And you probably got the app downloaded already. So tell a friend to download the Bleach Report app. Be sure to tap in with the Cowboy tab, the NFL tab, and the NFL Draft tab. I'll be popping up and showing y'all at any given moment on those tabs. But also, just follow me at Voch Lombardi here, and you will be notified whenever I go live on Bleach Report. Appreciate you. Also, Voch Lombardi, Twitter, Voch Lombardi, YouTube. That's where to find me. In case you're looking, if anybody's looking, that's where you find me. I said I got a little mess for y'all. I got a great understanding of how Cowboy fans work. And I think it's going to be a couple of camps when it comes to this conversation. There have been many times. And look, I was content spinning in my head, right? I was about to make an example about Jeff Heath, various running backs throughout the years, but we have a perfect example at quarterback. There are times when a fan base, they may get sick and tired of being sick and tired of their player one, and it grows this cult following fan base of player two. I'll give you the other examples. These Rico Gathers, not Rico Dowdle, these Rico Gathers fans that's telling you he need to be starting over Jason Witten type cats, the Joe Randall should be starting over DeMarco Murray camp. Y'all remember them? I remember when people didn't want Byron Jones to play.
Remember
that? I think Stephon Diggs has even ran into this a little bit where, people at a point they start leaning into the backup a little bit more. And we see it all the time with quarterback, right? If Dak ain't even got to be looking phony. Dak could be coming off of a MVP year.
Did you hear what I said?
There's still going to be fans that are going to go, well, what about Cooper Rush? The predicament that we're in, which is not really a predicament at all, is just something that we need to figure out as a fan base, in which the Cowboys will figure out. They'll figure this out on their own. But we as a fan base should kind of see where we at with this. And that's backup quarterback. Where are we at in terms of backup quarterback? Let me open up one more link so I can figure this out. And the crazy thing about backup quarterback is, we just let Cooper Rush go. And like I said earlier, there are Cowboy fans that feel like Cooper Rush was going to be the one to lead you to the promised land. Now, that'll be absolutely incorrect, but you know how it go, right? So, long story short, and me just being a little messy, Dak haters need a new hero. That's one way to look at it, right? Of course, you need a backup quarterback in the sense of, we just need somebody to, throw the ball to him. Just, hey, if anything happens to Dak, we need somebody to hand the ball off, sure. But there's a couple of ways you can look at quarterback. The way I look at quarterback is if Dak Prescott gets hurt in any way, we need to go ahead and start getting ready for draft. That's how I feel. If Dak Prescott gets hurt in any way, I don't foresee some Nick Foles type situation where somebody where he steps right in and takes us to the promised land. I don't think backup quarterbacks are built in that way. Plus, here's some real stuff. I don't think our offense is built to carry a quarterback like that. Or our defense, for that matter. They're just not built to carry quarterbacks. So if Dak ain't playing, I'm just not here for it. Okay. Will Grier is your current backup right now. In my opinion, I think that's fine. Perfect. Honestly, what backup quarterback should be for is you should have like a main quarterback, like your starter. You should have a backup quarterback, which is an old dude. And you should have a third quarterback, which is a young guy. Your young guy should be watching Dak and listening to Will Grier. Now it comes down to, what does the compensation look like? Let's have a conversation about any free agents that may be available. Man, we ain't doing nothing else. Let's share the screen here. Let's have a conversation about free agents that may be available, okay? Let's just ignore Aaron Rodgers. He ain't even part of this conversation. Trey Lance, Drew Lock, those are, some of you younger guys. We know what Trey Lance is. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys don't go back to that. Joe Flacco is probably a backup for a team that's trying to win games. Carson Wentz maybe is for a quarterback, is for a team that's trying to win games. I really don't hate either of those. If you bring in a guy like Joe Flacco or like Carson Wentz or something like that, in my mind, that'll be taking Will Grier's job, because Grier's supposed to be the veteran type dude, right? Joe Flacco is a really good veteran quarterback in this case, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to be looking in that direction, right? But just going up and down the field, Russell Wilson's probably going to be with a team. Just looking around, I kind of like, this is what your quarterback market is. Sam Ehlinger and Desmond Ridder and I guess Brett Ripien, Tyler Huntley. There's some young guys out there. There's some young guys out there that can drive the ship if anything were to happen, that can compete with Grier. But I think the main thing that Cowboys are looking at is like draft picks. So if I just run over to what draft selections or whatever, right? The big conversation is, should the Cowboys draft a third quarterback or a backup quarterback? And right here, all you see is Dak Prescott and Will Grier available on the team right now. And my answer to that is, Voch, should we draft a backup quarterback? My answer to that is simple. I would rather take those picks. These are the picks. I would rather take those picks and just build around Dak. Oh, pardon me. These are your picks. All 10 of these draft picks right here, I think you can do something with them. I don't think you'll get to a point to where, let me just pull up a list of the young quarterbacks there. Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shaw. I'm gonna be watching all these guys real soon with Brian Broad, my guy. Y'all be sure to tap into the Doing All Right podcast on YouTube at Voch Lombardi. But some of these guys, man, I've watched them all in passing. I got to watch the film on them, but I've seen them all in passing. These are going to be guys that are going to be worth like a 5th or a 6th round pick for you. You got to ask yourself how much you like these guys, how much you like them, and what are they going to bring to the table? And it's those guys versus these guys on top of how much do they cost. Now, I know Stephen Jones cheap. I know he ain't so cheap that he's looking at Desmond Ridder's $900,000 and going, nah, that's too much. Stephen Jones ain't that damn cheap, Also, there's the undrafted quarterback market, in which we don't know what that's going to look like neither. But the Cowboys could go there, right? They just could possibly go there. Honestly, I don't think a free agent is the move. They've done that. Like, Will Grier is technically their free agent in this situation. Plus, out of these 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, I like what they did with Kyer Elam, right? Kyer Elam isn't Trey Diggs. He isn't Deron Bland, but I'll send a 5 to a team to get a starter back. I'll send a 5 to get a starter back. The Cowboys can do this at many spots. Maybe not offensive linemen or anything like that, but I can send a 5 to get a receiver that I feel decent about, that can compete with some of these middle of the roster or middle of the depth chart receiver guys. Linebacker, maybe. Maybe it's a D lineman out there you like that's disgruntled with their current team that you can send a 5 and get a decent rotational player back. I would have rather have that than to go into round 5 and say, oh, well, we're just going to draft a quarter. We're going to draft Will Howard, and he doesn't even play this year. I think that's the biggest problem. My biggest problem is putting draft equity into players, and they don't even touch the field. There was this big portion of the season where Trey Lance was available. Dak was hurt. And you had an opportunity to at least see what you got in Trey Lance. And we just kept rolling Cooper Rush out there. And we'll do it again and again and again. And we'll keep losing games. And honestly, I'm just keeping a buck with you. I'm trying to tank at this point. Man, at this point, I'm trying to tank. And they wouldn't even let Trey Lance on the field. Is that them trying to build some sort of culture? And then D-Law leaves and proves to you that the culture ain't all that it chalked up to be. You know what I'm saying? What was the point of trading the 4th round pick? I understand it was a roll of the dice, it was a dart throw, it was a lottery ticket. I get it. But if you gonna acquire a lottery ticket, check your numbers.
Did you hear what I said?
If you're gonna buy a lottery ticket, check your numbers. Man, we ain't even checked the numbers with Trey Lance. He just played a bunch of preseason football. We had an opportunity to go, hey, what does Trey Lance look like with CeeDee Lamb and a cool offensive line versus a real defense with Rico Dowdle running back? We had an opportunity. We didn't go for it. So we basically turned week 18 into a preseason game, whatever. We ain't tried. The last time we traded for a quarterback, we ain't tried. But then we get a little bit of news. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of news. Word on Road said, let me pull that back up. Word on Road says, shouts out to my guy, Brandon Laurie. Y'all can go on his social media, man. Brandon does a really good job of curating Cowboy news and content and stuff. He's with Blogging the Boys, but he curates really well, right? Brandon Laurie says, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler said, the Cowboys are a team that could be interested in trading for quarterback Joe Milton. If they're looking for a quarterback to develop behind Dak Prescott, Milton could be an option if they don't land someone in the draft. And you just see some miscellaneous, commentary about it. But sure, and this comment got it right. Was that what what was the Trey Lance trade for? Like, that's what the Trey Lance trade was for? To develop. Now, I do think Joe Milton has so much more arm talent than Trey Lance. In terms of arm talent goes, as far as your label talent goes, Joe Milton has an arm that's on par or better than Josh Allen's. He may not be as accurate. He may not process. He may not have the same level of poise. But in terms of you trying to tackle a dump truck and him being able to throw the ball 80 yards, Joe Milton, 245 pounds. If you're going to develop a player, this is a guy that I don't mind you coming in trying to develop. I don't mind this at all. You're probably asking, well, Voch, oh, look at this. When Joe Milton threw the fastest throw at the NFL Combine at 62 miles an hour. Damn. Harder than all these guys. And look, that's more about zip than actual, trying to throw the ball hard. But you know what I'm saying? That's like tight window throws and stuff. And there's a highlight going around. Of course, we can't show it here, but we can't show it here, but y'all can go on Twitter and use your imagination, right? But Joe Milton, just as a guy, as a player. Well, what's the compensation? Shouts out to my guy Dave on Twitter. He says, if the Cowboys trade anything higher than a 6 for Joe Milton, I'll lose my mind. Tell you what, man, I got a tweet today. I'll just leave these picks up. I mean, not a tweet, but I got my hotline bling today. One of my sources said this. But if I had to guess, I think they'll want to take a 5th. If I had to guess, I think they would want a 5th for him, you know? So, Chet, you got to ask yourself, is a 5th, like where you at with the 5th round pick? Like, would pick 149, 171, 174? Allegedly, somebody that allegedly talked to Elliot Wolf said allegedly that he allegedly liked Joe Milton, he would allegedly get rid of him for a 5th round pick. So let's just take a hypothetical alleged 5th round pick. A hypothetical alleged 5th round pick. Would you do it? Would you do it? Would you draft a player with one of these picks? Me personally, I wouldn't. But what if that quarterback was a player that you know he has the arm talent? He's been in the National Football League for a year now. We've seen some flashes of him, and he might be more talented than any of the quarterbacks that are on the board. Graham Mertz from Florida. Y'all drafting Graham Mertz from Florida. You know what I'm saying? Max Brosmer, Brady Cook. I seen them in live at the Shrine Bowl or whatever, and I wasn't all that, blown away by them. But I had to think about it myself, man. Joe Milton for let's just call it a day 3 pick. Joe Milton for a day 3 pick. In my mind, I want to take all those picks and do something that'll help my football team. But we're only in this predicament because there's question marks about Dak and his age. That's the only reason. If you had a quarterback like, I don't even want to say Josh Allen because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but if you had a quarterback that was maybe like a little older, but he was in his prime kind of sort of, and you wasn't really worried about injuries and stuff like that, you wasn't really worried about him moving on or anything like that, we wouldn't be having a conversation about drafting a quarterback. But Dak Prescott, there needs to be an heir apparent because Dak Prescott's 32 years old, and 32 is technically not old for a quarterback, but the injury history. Dak's injury history pops up and shows you, So you're going to need a backup quarterback. If Dak gets hurt again, you're going to need a quarterback to win you a game or two. I don't know. Me personally, I'd just go get another backup. I would just sign another backup. If I can get Milton for a 6 or a 7, we can go boogie. But I would just sign another backup, let him compete with Will Greer, because at the end of the day, my biggest point is if Dak Prescott gets hurt, you effed anyway. You effed anyway if Dak Prescott gets hurt. So it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man. Sticky situation, but I'm just trying to win, bro. And honestly, those day 3 picks, they're probably gonna go on like some role players you need. Like you're gonna look for a nickel corner with one of those picks, maybe a run stopping one tech, a run stopping defensive end, like an extra linebacker or something like that. You're gonna need those picks to get better. But I don't know. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe they'll go like Dylan Gabriel or something, or Will Howard. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Love y'all to pieces. Y'all download the Bleacher Report app. Y'all are watching me right now, so I can assume that you have it downloaded already. Go to the NFL tab, the NFL Draft tab, but most importantly, the Dallas Cowboys tab. That's where I pop out and show y'all Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Central. All right. I love y'all 2 pieces. Y'all hold down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Whiskey. Until next time, which is Wednesday. Salute.